Hello, I'm Philip Brunelle, Artistic Director and founder of Vocal Essence and organist choirmaster at Plymouth Congregational Church in Minneapolis. So each day I've taken a different composer, a composer that's had a role to play at both organizations, and talk about their music, particularly their choral music, which makes sense. Today it's the Swedish composer Nils Lindberg. I met Nils, back in the 70s in Sweden. There was a midsummer festival, of course, in June, and I was at the festival. I remember it very well because I stayed in an inn in the middle of this area of Sweden called Dalarna and came home late that night to stay in this inn. And the lady who owned it had said, "Don't worry, even though you're coming late, it will be open for you." So I got there about midnight and it was locked and there was no one and it was dark. And I remember saying, I think I'm stuck. And so I spent the night walking around in dark, beautiful Sweden. I remember it very well. And it's the trip where I met Nils Lindberg. He is an amazing jazz pianist, also a wonderful composer, and I would say that there's sort of several areas of his interest. Certainly jazz, certainly classical music, and also, because of the region of Sweden where he lives, folk music. He was born in 1933, and you may know of him in terms of jazz because for a number of years he worked with the jazz singer Alice Babs. He also did arrangements for Duke Ellington. And he composed the piece that I love, one that he wrote called A Christmas Cantata. We performed it in 2004. He had composed it in 2002, but we gave it in 2004 and again in 2015. And there's nothing quite like this piece. It was written for jazz band. It's the only time we did anything quite like this, but jazz band and large chorus and soloists. And it had people were just kind of stunned. Several of the movements, when they ended, people just burst into applause. So when he set something like, when we gave the U.S. premiere, I love this quote that came from the Star Tribune. "The major work in the concert is the U.S. premiere of A Christmas Cantata by the Swedish composer Nils Lindberg. Lindberg creates a unique fusion of jazz with the classic choral tradition. Originally composed to English texts, it's a rare Christmas piece that has an orchestration dominated by 5 saxophones. The Vocal Essence chorus takes the roof off with Ding Dong Merrily on High, and a big band arrangement of the Sussex Carol was a real highlight." But his style later in this piece, also when it's not one of the carols, is also the part he tells the narrative when Jesus was born in Bethlehem. So you get a different kind of classical sense from him. Nils also wrote a series of choral pieces, a cappella pieces, using words of William Shakespeare. They're in a set of pieces called A Garland of Elizabethan Poetry. So here's an example of one of them, a setting of Shakespeare's words, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?" Music of the Swedish composer Nils Lindberg. Have a wonderful day.